Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can come and get caught up on some of the latest news involving our Cleveland Browns and get a 10-minute take along the way. Now, in case you missed it, you missed the last episode, you may have noticed we are not in the friendly confines of the Browns Latest studio. It's just me and the Doors again. I call them the Shadors. And but we'll be back in the studio here, and it'll be available in the next day or so. We'll be back in there, don't worry. But for now, it's me and the Doors, the Shadors. So please bear with us. If you can, please like the episodes that you watch, and go back and like the ones, even if you don't watch them, like them. And if you can, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're over 4,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you enough for that. And then, as always, please get your comments in the viewer comment section. Coming up on today's show, in order to determine how this quarterback battle is going to start, follow the money. Or in this case, follow the acquisition. I also went back and looked at third-round picks in the NFL draft and looked at the success rate, and I will tell you, I was surprised. The other thing I looked at, fifth-round draft picks, and when I looked at that list, I was taken back a bit. And then down in the viewer comments, we have someone who says Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is providing Browns fans a glimmer of hope. But first things first, let's get to the acquisition. Now, I love The Wire. If you ever watched that the show The Wire on HBO, I love that show. And so I was like, follow the money. So what I did with the Browns and the quarterback battle, you got to follow the acquisitions. And so how this thing is going to start is, and I don't, you got to, people need to stop trying to read into things. And so if you look at how each of these quarterbacks were acquired, you will see. Kenny Pickett, now they traded DTR and a fifth-round pick. Remember, he was the first one they went out and got, like right away. They got him from Philly. And so they liked him. There's something they see in him, folks. And then, of course, Dillon Gabriel taken in the third round. If you're going to use a third-round pick on somebody, you know, the thing that shocks everybody about this is that there's nobody else that seemed to have a third-round grade on Dillon Gabriel. So the Browns, you talk about a swing and a miss, Jimmy Haslam. I don't know. This better work out if this could be another big swing and a miss, or it could be a massive grand slam if the Browns are right. And then, of course, you have Shedeur Sanders, traded the fifth and sixth round picks from this year's draft to move up to take him at pick 144. And then Joe Flacco, of course, signed in April to that vet minimum of $4 million. So the way it all played out, not expected the way the Browns brass had intended, because the Shedeur Sanders thing kind of came out of nowhere. And Flacco, he was kind of waiting in the wings, and that was like the last ditch effort to bring an established veteran in the room. It wasn't Kirk Cousins, which I'm sure they were hoping to get here. Then it was going to be Joe Flacco, and they waited as long as they could on Cousins, and then they signed Flacco. Flacco, though, not a bad second option because he's seen this offense before. We've been over all that. So that's how this quarterback battle is going to start, folks. So don't read anything else into it other than it really comes down to how they were acquired is what will determine kind of that initial, I don't want to say, rep list or anything like that. It's just, this is how it's going to start, how they were acquired and what they think they have in each of these players. And so get you thinking, all right, well, third round pick could be a big swing and a miss, like we just said, on Dillon Gabriel. The Browns seem to be the only ones to think that Dillon Gabriel was worthy of a third round pick. I might be wrong, but I haven't seen too many people out there to say otherwise. And here is a list, just some of them. I can get all of them in here, but here are some of your third round picks that were quarterbacks in the NFL drafts over the last, I try to go back to 2020, but Hendon Hooker, Detroit took him. Desmond Ridder, of course, who's still in the league. Falcons took him. Mason Rudolph is probably one of the names that, do you want to call him a success? I don't know. Jacoby Brissett, who, of course, was with us. Cody Kessler, who, of course, was with us. Good backup quarterback was Brissett. But here's the name that'll jump out on a page. Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. And the thing is, he ran kind of a similar style offense that we're going to run here, right? They were run heavy, great defense. I mean, they won a lot of games in Seattle, and he's still hanging on in the league. But Russell Wilson was a third-round quarterback, folks. Nick Foles, Philly special, right? All of that. So Nick Foles on that list, and then another. Colt McCoy from the Cleveland Browns, and he actually, I mean, he lasted in the years like the league like 13 years mostly as a backup, but he had a good year. And then Matt Schaub, I mean, he was in fantasy world, he was a good quarterback there for a while. But those are, that's the list, and I got some other third rounders to throw at you. I mean, it doesn't really get any better. This is why I was surprised, folks. I thought I'd see more successful quarterbacks on this list. But let's round it out with this. How about this? Kevin O'Connell, the Patriots took him in 2008. Trent Edwards, there's a household name for you. From the Bills in 2007. Charlie Whitehurst, the Chargers took him in 2006. And here's one for a Browns fan. The University of Akron, Charlie Fry was a third-round pick, believe it or not, in 2005. And you say, okay, smarty pants, what about the fifth-round picks? There's got to be somebody in there, right? Somebody in there maybe won like 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I looked at the list, folks, and I'll tell you what, I was taken back a bit because there aren't that many great names on this list. Spencer Rattler, of course, last year. Sam Howell, who looked like he may have been my Greek friend Tharasso, loved him when Washington took him. That never really worked out. Jake Fromm, T. Martin. Remember when he played at Tennessee and came into the pros with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mike McMahon and A.J. Feely. In 2001, the Lions and the Eagles. Randy Fasani, the Panthers and the Falcons took them. And how about Ingle Martin? Green Bay Packers took him back in 2006. And here's a couple other ones for you, folks. Troy Smith, Ohio State. Remember Baltimore took him. He only threw for 1,700 yards in the league, folks. Craig Krenzel, remember, won a national championship with the Buckeyes against Miami the year everybody called them the Luckeyes when they beat the U out there in Arizona. I was at that game. I was covering that game for WBNS TV, and so Craig Krenzel, a fifth-round pick. He didn't do much in the league. Dan Orlovsky. A lot of people gave me crap about Orlovsky when I tell you I like his opinion on quarterbacks now. But he wasn't much of an NFL quarterback, but he was a fifth-round pick. He was 2-10 in the league and 3,000 yards. But that doesn't mean he's a bad analyst. I mean, remember, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Now, I mean, the guy knows his stuff when it comes to QBs. And here's the one that, I mean, okay, you want to talk about, this might be the success rate. Mark Brunell, remember him? Green Bay took him back in 1993. He had a winning record, 78-73 as a starter, over 32,000 yards passing, and 184 touchdowns for Mark Brunell. So, folks, it's just, if this quarterback thing was easy to predict, everybody would have one every single year, and it's just not. And so what does that say about our rookie quarterbacks? Nothing. I mean, we have no idea because this situation is completely different. The offenses are geared more towards these college quarterbacks. A lot of times these college quarterbacks are stepping, and look at Shador, stepping into a system that he was familiar with. They used it at Colorado, and they're going to run the ball more. And there's so many facets to this that will make a quarterback successful. I do think it's really the system and what's around them that helps a lot. And I think both our rookie quarterbacks, all our quarterbacks are in good shape in that sense. What's also in good shape, as always, the viewer comments. And so let's get started with it. I told you, you have a good handle, I'm going to find you. Forrest Gump, 8357. Great movie. My wife, one of our favorite movies. We love watching Forrest Gump. I love when he says, "Go back to your home in Greenbow, Alabama." One of my favorite lines in that movie. But Forrest Gump, 8357, says, "I've never paid any attention to rookie mini camps, or even regular mini camps for that matter. Always wait for preseason games. This is an interesting process. Shador certainly has a great dynamic personality. Hope he gets it done. So a Shador fan, but also recognizing the fact that this is going to be so fascinating to watch this all play out on the field with all four of our quarterbacks. Flacco, Pickett, Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel going after it here. And it's all going to start in just a couple of days. Heisman hopeful. Another great YouTube handle. The Cleveland Browns owner, Mr. Haslam, gives a glimmer of hope for the Cleveland Browns. Seemingly, he has a penchant for truth and righteousness. Change the energy. We going to win. And I like the way he's thinking. And here's the thing about Haslam. And I think, say what you want about Haslam, but I do think that he is really trying to change just the bad history the bad luck we've experienced as Browns fans, the organization, because there's a lot of us who think that that stadium might be who knows that where that stadium is built. I think Art Modell might have put a curse on us. I don't know, but there just seems like the stuff that happens to this team just doesn't seem like. I think there seems to be some other kind of power involved, but. So his old moving the team out to Brook Park, taking the swing and the miss on Deshaun Watson. It was a huge swing and a miss, but at least he took a shot, I guess. But he's always, he's not afraid to try some things to try and change it up, because that's what you got to do. You can't just keep beating your head against the wall and hoping things are going to change. And so I will give Haslam credit for that. He does. He's not afraid to try to go, and then look at what Shador, and that's what I think Heisman hopeful is referring to. Like Shador keeps dropping. If he was involved, I don't know, but the bottom line is the Browns went out and got him. Steve Jackson, 3041, says, if you give Shador 45 seconds and 3 timeouts in a pro-style offense, which is what he ran at Colorado, this dude will drive 100 yards for a touchdown. His followers have seen him do it. Now, Steve Jackson, that's a great take. Appreciate it. But it also, pick the scab. When you're a Browns fan and you hear 45 seconds, 3 timeouts, and 100 yards to go, right away, we think of the drive. And that's exactly what I said. I told him, we've seen that happen in Cleveland before. Unfortunately, it was John Elway. He had 98 yards to go, and he did it. So anyway, I'm just having fun with you, Steve. It just reminded me of that when you said that. But if Shador could come in here and do that to somebody else, for us, I'm all for it. Kimmy English 1082 says, my Browns wish list. A combo Flacco and Sanders leads Cleveland to its first Super Bowl title. No, I am not drinking. That's what she says. Hey, anything is possible at this point, folks. Anything is possible. And Kim English, I did not think you were drinking. I actually believe that can happen. And then got to end on this one. Michelle Barnes 575. I'm a CU auntie. Remember, we talked about the CU aunties the other day. Thank you to all of you, everybody who jumped into the comments and said nice things about the show and about, explaining more about the CU aunties, the fan club of women who just exude positivity and follow all the CU buffs who go on to do great things, whether it's in the NFL, other places. It's just nice to see. So, but this one was crazy. Michelle Barnes, 575. I'm a CU auntie, and Cleveland is my hometown. I graduated from Cleveland Central Catholic High School. You know who else graduated from Cleveland Central Catholic High School? Boom. When Bernie Kosar was quarterback, I was at Central when Bernie was there. I've watched all of Shador's CU games. His hidden power, his secret sauce is that he has a strong will to win. He never gives up. He's a cardiac kid quarterback. And back in the day, the Browns, we called them the cardiac kids because they would give us a heart attack every week because they always seemed to come back from behind. Ryan Sipe was their quarterbacking. They were the cardiac kids, man. Every week, it was just such a thrilling game, and they would win and do some great things. But Michelle Barnes, 575, right there with you. And I'm a former Ironman. I played football, basketball, and baseball at Cleveland Central Catholic High School. And so it's nice to hear from a fellow Ironman. See what, we're finding people all over the place, folks, with our little show here. But thank you so much, Michelle Barnes, for chiming in for us on the show. All right, that's going to do it for today. OTAs, it's all going to start. We're just hours away, folks, now. We're getting so close. It's all going to start. It's all going to start playing out. But remember, if you can, please like the episode, subscribe to the channel, get those comments. I want to hear from you. Whether you graduated from Cleveland Central Catholic or not, I want to hear from you. And that'll do it. All right, go Browns. We'll see you next time.